Greetings, Divine Mirror. Sacred, awakening, remembering, gods and goddesses, one and all. Thank you for showing up. Welcome to welcome to Voices of the Global Awakening, Tuesdays with Tess, episode number 22. That's 5.5 months of weekly downloads and discourse and dialogue, checking in with each other and dropping in to some deep discussions on some very rich evolutionary topics. Our topic today is getting free. And honestly, I don't ever really know too far in advance what it is that we are going to be chatting about, and it can go all over the place because this is live and unrehearsed and largely unplanned, so that we can be as authentic and transparent with one another as possible. And I love when you come on and chat with me, because it really stretches all of us much more than if I'm just talking at you. And so I absolutely invite and encourage that, especially if you are shy or self-conscious. This is a very safe place to break through and to practice using your voice and sharing your point of view, because, as I always say, we all have a piece of the puzzle, and evolution is a team sport. So we are all in this together, and we expand by exploring various perspectives on our subjects that we're dropping in with. So I put out a post today. I don't know how many of you saw it. Oh, and I do want to say that if you do want to come on and chat with me, that you need to be on a cell phone. For some reason, the technology doesn't work on a laptop or a desktop. And if you're on your cell phone, there should be a little icon at the bottom of the screen that's a silhouette of a person and the silhouette of like a little TV screen kind of thing. And if you click on there, I'll get a notification that you're trying to come on. And you can also express that in the chat. And if you come up on my screen, then I will be able to invite you. So that would be amazing. So anyway, I was starting to say that I put out a post earlier today, which I decided was going to be my last minute marketing reminder that this was happening. And there was a meme about, I don't remember the exact words of it, but it was not underestimating the value of self-love, i.e. self-healing, self-honoring, as the greatest contribution that we could be making to the healing and awakening on our planet, because so many of us have been programmed and traumatized by early life experiences that caused us to create personas in order to get on in the world and protect ourselves. And ultimately those personas are suffocating us. And so awakening becomes a process of unlearning and shedding those false selves that we took on as affectations in order to be loved, liked, accepted, included, not left behind. So we're here peeling away those layers. That is what I'm doing, and I seek to be as transparent with you as possible in my own process, because my ultimate goal is to be my pure, original blueprint, unadulterated, authentic self at all times, in all situations, because my contention is that if we are as our original blueprint intended, then we are in automatic alignment with all the gifts that this dimension is wanting to bestow upon us, all the sustenance, all the support, all the grace, all the connections, all the relationships. Welcome, Michael, Stu, and Rivka. Nice to see all of you here. And if we are functioning as a persona with a false self, we may attract certain things for a time, but the foundation is unstable, and I don't believe that it is ultimately sustainable. So I put out this post earlier, and I was kind of acknowledging that I'm feeling a bit vulnerable and challenged today. As some of you know, I have been back in San Diego. March 4th, I believe, is going to be 3 years, and I have been in this unbelievable house hunt all of this time, and staying at the homes of different friends, and rented a room for a while someplace, and basically house hunting has been my full-time job. And I've been using this as a simulation to heal a lifelong program related to justifying and rationalizing self-sacrifice. And so it was this has been a process for me to catch myself as that habit comes in, and to really drop in and examine whatever may be in the way that may be keeping me from being a vibrational match to manifesting an environment that bespeaks me, that would make my heart sing, and not feel like a compromise and a disappointment and like just some other place that I'm stuck. And I had an experience on Saturday, I guess it was. I went to look at a little place which is much smaller and more modest than my grand vision of what I've been holding out for, because I'm really wanting to create a community space, a vegan music peace sanctuary, where we could host events, where we could have retreats, where we could have concerts and workshops for myself to offer, as well as other members of the community to be able to offer, and really provide a space where, in this particular day and age where there is so much, I mean, my contention is pretty much since the launch of COVID, if we weren't already as a collective dealing with PTSD between the elections and COVID, and now the war in the Middle East, it's like I don't know if there's a human on the planet that isn't dealing with some level of PTSD. And so we can't underestimate the value of connection and touch and warmth and a hug, and looking into somebody's eyes so that we can see past the illusion of separation and co-regulate with one another. Like, use our looking into one another's eyes as a way to calm down when we are caught up in the hypnosis of all the drama that takes place in 3D. And so it has been very important to me to find a place where I could have guests coming and going. It's not going to disturb my neighbors. They're not going to feel threatened by people coming. By, if we're releasing sound, I do a lot of primal release, rage and grief release healing work with people. And so, so like I come into a space and I'm saying, can we be loud here? Can we not disturb anybody if we're here? Can we not call too much attention to ourselves, so that we can be kind of low-key, but still not be, inhibiting ourselves out of self-consciousness. And so this little place was kind of a surprise to me, because as I was in it, my mind was working of, it's been almost 3 years that I haven't found a place. And clearly I'm doing all this processing and shedding all these wounds and programs and negative core beliefs that I'm identifying, misusing my I am power, or miscreating with an unconscious thought pattern that's running in the background. And this is like tedious, time consuming work. And ultimately, if one's life doesn't feel like it's working, or there's this uneasy feeling that there's something off, or there's something wrong, or there's some way in which we're lying to ourselves or hiding something from one another, then self-love, self-care, self-honor suggests that slowing down and sitting quietly with one's own thoughts to identify what these thought patterns are, because once we identify them, we can feel how they are constricting and contracting our life force and undermining our sense of joy and our sense of peace. So I think this is like really, really important work, and like each of us is a micro of the macro. And in Judaism, it is said that you save one person, you save a whole world. Well, all of us do-gooder empaths, crusaders out there are trying to do all the saving of other people, but there's a self there that is needing saving too. And so I thank God that despite all my psycho-emotional challenges and wounding and depression and despair that I have gotten to deal with in this lifetime, there is a spark. I mean, my mother, when people ask me what my takeaway from my relationship with my mother was, it is that I can survive anything, because she was the ultimate survivor in my eyes. Her resilience and her tenacity were unmatched in my experience. And so to have that, and to not have gone through anything near as horrific as she did, to make that my determination that I can survive anything, and to make that commitment, and to be able to recognize that despite the level of despair that I can experience and have sunk into, there's this part of me that always recognizes that life is a miraculous gift. It is not something that I want to get out of. It's not that I don't want to be here anymore or take my life. And I certainly know a lot of people that do feel that way, and certain people that have done that, that have taken their lives. And I even have gotten to sit in a hospice room with someone who was actually ultimately given legal sanction to take his life, and I was there when he took his last breath. And the resolve in me that would never be me. And I can't judge anyone because I haven't walked a mile in his moccasins. But as an evolutionary ally and a mirror and a teacher, for me, it was like a clear knowing that my commitment is to identify and figure out the negative core beliefs that are standing in the way of having a fully happy, thriving, grateful, ecstatic experience being on this planet. And that does not discount being empathetic to what other people are going through. And there is a biblical line for that suggests, there but by the grace of God go I, which to me means while I can have sympathy and empathy for another person's experience, I must maintain a gratitude for my life experience, my journey, what's going on with me, and what opportunities and grace I actually have to be able to heal myself to this level and to put it out there to others in the world who resonate with what I'm speaking about, who would like support in this way, because I consider myself to be a word alchemist. I have great reverence for words. I believe that we cast spells and we pass sentences with the choice of language, and that the more mindful we can be to ensure that we are saying precisely what we mean and that we are not inadvertently miscreating for ourselves is incredibly empowering. So this is an area of great passion for me and fascination. And when I'm not being social, I spend the majority of my time really delving into these things and trying to crack the codes of my own psyche so that I can be like that biblical quote, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. My rod and my staff comfort me. And how I interpret the rod and the staff is feeling our connection to the physical plane. Any part of our body that is touching anything else in the physical plane, which is the material world, which the root word of material is mater, which means mother. Welcome, Michelle. Welcome, Chef John and Angel. Good to see all of you here. So as I say at the beginning of this all the time, I absolutely encourage interaction. This is not meant to be a 2-hour monologue. This is meant to be an interactive dialogue. And I invite any of you who feel so inspired, even if you feel shy, even if you feel a little timid and self-conscious, take advantage of this opportunity. I'm very warm and friendly and encouraging, and I believe that all of us have a piece of the puzzle, and we are evolutionary allies, and I want to hear your perspective on these things. If anything I'm saying is resonating with you, if you take exception to anything I'm saying, if you have another point of view altogether, please, I welcome you. The only caveat is that you must be on a cell phone. For some reason, the technology doesn't work if you're on a desktop or a laptop. So I'm going to take a breath and invite you to take a breath with me because I've been like since I started. So anyway, I went to see this place and it was like, you know what? I've been looking for almost 3 years and not finding. And of course, you must know the market has gone crazy. And what resonates with me about money are the words "In God We Trust" on the green paper. That is the main thing about it that speaks to me. And so I believe that by lining up my energy and giving myself permission to believe that I am worthy of a certain lifestyle and a certain amount of space, because my goal and my intention is to hold the space for others as well. So it is not a purely selfish motive on my part. And although I've determined that as important as it is for everybody to have their own psychic space to drop in and be alone, there's great value in living in community for so many reasons. So anyway, so now I'm like in this little place, and it's not like teeny tiny, but compared to the things I've been looking at, it's pretty small. And it was so nice that I thought, you know what? Maybe it would be worthwhile for me to take this for a time, just to be able to gather my things, stop paying storage, stop imposing on people that I have my things at one place and my body at another place, and I'm staying longer than any of us anticipated, and I'm incredibly grateful that I'm still welcome. And still, it's kind of like I've been in this holding pattern and just kind of in suspended animation and a sort of a limbo. And it's like I want to go. I want to get started. And so I left the townhome and I took a walk to the pool, and there were some residents that were inside. I asked if they would let me in. and we chatted. And these people have been living there for about 10 years, and they really like it. And for some reason, some mysterious reason that is unknown to them, the management does not heat the pool more than like sporadically a couple of times a year. And whether it is because the mechanism needs repair and is too expensive, or whether they just don't like to pay the money for heating. I mean, and this is a gated community with a homeowners association, and it's a beautiful, upscale kind of place in nature, beautiful nature all around. And the guy said that he's so like over trying to petition to get them to turn it on consistently that he's given up. And thank you, Chad. Welcome to my live stream. He's so given up on trying to petition them to get the heater working on a consistent basis that he just goes and swims at his friend's house. And like my heart dropped. It was like, here I was willing to surrender, to justify compromise at this level of like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to have the big events here that I want to have. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the primal rage and grief release work here that I wanted to do. All kinds of different things. But it was kind of like, okay, I want to work with the universe. I want to be flexible. But swimming is a thing my body is longing for on a regular basis so much that having a pool where I live is like a basic self-care necessity for me. And it was like, wow, what is it? Like, why can't I have what I want? Why can't I have what I want? What is that? This is a mystical realm. I see it. I get it. I am in such a continual state of awe and recognition of the miraculous nature of our existence and all of existence that I feel we as a culture are missing, not seeing the forest for the trees. And that is why we suffer, and that is why we are so antagonistic to one another, because we think that there's lack and we think that there's limitation, and we've been programmed to believe all this stuff and sacrifice and doing without and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, there's something fundamentally off in my psyche, in my programming, that suggests it's not okay for me to have what I want. I don't deserve it. I'm not worthy. And I have identified that I have inherited survivor's guilt. My sweet parents, to survive the concentration camps of Auschwitz and lose all their siblings and lose all their parents and lose their nieces and nephews. There's a grief, and there's a confusion of man's inhumanity, and there's a feeling of unworthiness of why am I getting to live when all these other people perished. And that feeling I have identified was transferred to me, and so it's been kind of like a lifelong thing to peel away the layers of the onion, and I identify what it is, like, because we're energetic beings, we're vibrational beings, and our thoughts are creative. We are creating our reality with the thoughts that we're thinking. We're creating our self-fulfilling experience. So it's like whatever happens, it's like there it is again, there it is again, there it is again, there it is again, there it is again. And it creates this surmounting despair that if we don't make a point of pulling ourselves out of the flow, the hamster in the wheel flow of our lives, and just stop the action and go, okay, what is wrong with this picture? We are all miraculous beings in a miraculous realm. Why are we suffering so much? Why are we doing without so much? Why have we learned to settle for and accept so much less than what this dimension has to offer? The Bible says it is God's great pleasure to give us the kingdom or the queendom or whatever you want to call it. There is so much abundance in this universe, and yet we are walking around hypnotized and unworthy and living with a sense of lack and guilt and undeservability and so much despair. So all there is to do, in my eyes, is to stop and do a spiritual reality check. You know the song, was it Paul Simon, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover? It started, the problem was all inside your head, she said to me. The answer is easy if you take it logically. I'd like to help you in your struggle to be free. There must be 50 ways to leave your lover. Right? Remember that? So it's like, I would like to help us all in our struggle to get free. And the trouble is all inside our heads. We are all subjected to an internalized, invisible mental prison. And we need to compassionately and gently, painstakingly dismantle that prison, bar by bar by bar. That's why I'm here, available, anxious to speak with you. So if any of you is wanting to come on and dialogue about this, I absolutely welcome you. And if you there's a little icon at the bottom of your screen on a smartphone. It's on the bottom left. I'm not sure if it's that way for an iPhone, but it's the little silhouette of a person and a little box with another little person in it. And if you click on there, you should be able to get on. Hello, Michael. Blessings of the season to all. Chad, you are a beautiful lady. Thank you. How was my Christmas? My Christmas was, it was nice, and it was filled with a lot of energy and a lot of people. And I was kind of in a quiet space, so there was like a little bit of a disconnect for me in the experience, but I was more holding space for my gracious hostess who has now given me sanctuary in her home for a year. I've been here for a full year. And so there was a nice collection of people and vegan food, which is my thing. and a good time was had by all. So thank you for asking. So, anybody out there have any thoughts or feelings about this topic or anything else they'd like to come on and share? We don't have to be manic. We can slow this whole thing down and sit in sacred presence together and feel the healing energy available in the silence. So as I've been sitting with whether I should go ahead and fill out the application, I'm the first person to have seen the place. It was right before Christmas. If I had gotten it in by first thing this morning, nobody else would have seen it yet. And so I've really been kind of like deliberating about, my intention related to healing this thing about self-sacrifice, but also being aware that the other song, you can't always get what you want. But if you try sometime, you just might find you get what you need. So maybe I'm not getting what I want, but maybe I'm getting what I need. So does that mean that I should go ahead and take that place? And so I was back and forth and back and forth and back and forth about it, and then decided that, this pool thing was sort of a sign for me. It was sort of a sign because the other things were more subtle, that weren't really lined up, that I was willing to justify compromising about. And one of them in particular is that for the type of open, inviting temple space environment that I am wanting to live in, living in a gated community is not really the thing. And I've been saying that all along, and here I was looking anyway, because this like desperation factor creeps in. It's like, okay, already, I want to move on. I'm stuck here. Like, how much longer am I going to be stuck before some grace appears and the Red Sea parts and this resonant environment suddenly finally shows up for me, and I'm really getting that it's me. I'm the common denominator in all my experiences, and even though on a certain level it doesn't feel so good to know that, there's something incredibly empowering about going, I'm the one, I am responsible, I am 100% responsible for my experience. And if I'm 100% responsible for my experience, then I could sit with myself and I can notice all the, behind the scenes negative core thoughts that are dictating what's happening. And one by one, change that program, just like you remove old software in a computer and you put new software in the computer, and it functions completely differently. So so that's basically what I have been doing. I was speaking with my friend. I'm going to read a couple things to you. I was speaking with my friend Leah earlier today, and she shared an affirmation with me that I thought was really good. It was, I am willing to take the steps to have the faith in myself and the universe to make the best decisions for my highest good. So that's something that requires patience. It's like, if we make the decision that we are going to trust that there is an overarching intelligence that is orchestrating everything in this entire dimension, and that we are to walk in oneness with that intelligence. We are to align ourselves with that intelligence and trust it implicitly, even though we can't understand much of what we see going on the world stage. If we trust that there is an overarching intelligence, that same intelligence that's making the tide come in and out, the same intelligence that's making the seasons change and all the vegetation grow and is causing things to birth and to drop the bodies and return to spirit and all that. If we decide to align with that, and we are no longer in resistance to our relationship with the field that is sustaining us. So just like a fish can't see water, it is swimming in an environment that is sustaining it. We too cannot see the atmosphere that we are swimming in, that is sustaining us. But relaxing into it, it's like if we're sitting by ourselves and we're identifying that I am angry, I am sad, I feel hurt, I don't trust, I don't believe, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. It's like, oh, that's me being out of alignment with the field that is sustaining me. I need to be in harmony with this field. I need to trust it. And if I want to relax and heal my nervous system and my endocrine system and my limbic system and be at peace, the only way that I can be at peace is to decide that this field, this intelligent field, has me. It has me. And to decide, to choose to be enjoying living. Like noticing, like, well, would I be happy in that house? And I ask myself, and I say no. Well, would I be happy somewhere else? I don't know. So maybe I'm just not happy, right? So again, I'm the common denominator in all of my experiences. And it's like, well, is it serving me and my experience of life to be inherently, intrinsically unhappy, just as a habit that I picked up, not to blame, because this is a journey, this is a play, this is the backstory of my character, that I was born to these two incredibly sad, traumatized, heartbroken people. And that heartbreak was imprinted upon me, and in my subconscious, I have been living out that same thing. And so it's like our point of power is in our awareness. Knowledge is power, always right here, right now, in the present moment. And they say it takes 180 degrees to turn a ship around. So from the moment the decision is made to turn the ship around, it may take a while to start moving in the other direction, but the decision has been made. So to decide to use my I am power in alignment with my understanding that this life is a miracle and that this life is a gift. So to commit to, I am enjoying living. I am loving living. I am choosing that no matter what I'm experiencing. I could be banging my toe, or I could be dropping something, like I could be, and it's like choosing. I came forth in physical form for a human experience. That includes the whole gamut, the whole range of emotions that a human being can experience in a body. And I can choose to suffer. I can choose to lament. I can choose to feel sorry for myself. I can choose to resent other people's happiness and success, why they seem to have more grace and ease in their experience, or I can choose to give thanks for every single thing I get to experience, every single breath I get to take while here in this body. Because since I don't know what happens when I leave here, my preference is to choose to learn how to actually enjoy everything. And if I can master enjoying everything, my contention is my experience has to transform. Give thanks. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Yes. So, speaking of which, there's this guy here on Facebook. I'm a Facebook friend of his, and he posts magnificent poetry. He's released, like he started as therapy for himself on Facebook, and I think that he's collected his poetry and he's published it as a book. And indeed, Michael, count your blessings. When you're worried and you can't sleep, just count your blessings instead of sheep, and you'll fall asleep counting your blessings. Now, that's something my mother used to sing to me when I was a little girl. It was from, I'm pretty sure it's from the movie White Christmas, which is perfect timing. So anyway, this guy here on Facebook has published one or more books of his poetry. And I highly recommend utilizing some form of artistic expression to transmute your challenging feelings, whether it is writing poetry or short stories or journaling or singing or dancing or painting or cooking, like dear Chef John. And I love to cook. It's a beautiful form of expression for me. But anyway, so John Rodell, Roedel, posted a poem today. And I love how the universe provides things that are always in alignment with whatever the topic of the moment might be. And he says, me. Hey, God. God. Hello, my love. Me. I'm worried. God. About what? Me. That I'm getting worse. Every day I feel like I'm disappearing in front of the world. I'm fading away. Eventually I'll become invisible to everyone and will just be a ghost bumping around. God, you are a little confused about what's happening to you. You aren't turning into a ghost, and you are certainly not becoming invisible. Me. What's happening to me then? God. You are just starting to be more transparent. I can see your heart. What's actually happening is that you are in the process of taking off all of your disguises that you've collected over the years. You aren't fading away. You are simply shedding the parts of yourself that aren't authentic. Hey, Ariane, welcome. Me. I'm not disappearing? God. No, you are becoming more real than you have ever been before. Your ego is the only part of you that is starting to fade. Me. It hurts. God. I know. Hold on. I love you. It will be worth it. Let all the barren and dry things in your life that don't matter fall off in the breeze. Stop clinging to what doesn't work for you anymore. Let it all go. Me. This is all so terrifying. God, don't fret, my love. I won't let you vanish. I will hold you in my hands until it's over. Me. Change is hard. God, you aren't changing. You are just letting yourself become who you were born to be in the first place. Me. Who is that? God. My pottery, my art, my poem, my song. That is who you are, and it will all soon be unmistakable to you. Me. Sorry. I'm not vanishing. God. No. You are becoming. That was Hey God, a poem by John Rodell, Roedel. You can find him here on Facebook if you want to follow him and read more of his poetry. Hey, welcome, Cher. Nice to see you here. So, yeah, we are unlearning and we are shedding these false personas that we have created in order to feel safe and protect ourselves. And those personas are too tight and too small and too geared in certain directions that are not really in alignment with our souls. And we suffer silently. And I feel that the healing opportunity that is upon us is to be fully transparent. To be transparent every second, unapologetically, about what our truth is, what our experience is, to stop lying to each other, and more importantly, to stop lying to ourselves. Take a deep breath and exhale. If you're just tuning in, this is Voices of the Global Awakening, Tuesdays with Tess, weekly interactive community enrichment dialogue from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. Lies hurt. Yes, lies hurt. When we are, I believe that the moment that we have a withhold from someone, we are no longer in true community. We are no longer transparent. Now we are in pseudo community, and now we're acting all the time. And the real pain is when we are lying to ourselves, and we've been doing it for so long that we are hiding something from ourselves and we don't even know what it is, but we can feel it, and it makes us feel really, really bad. So just starting to be honest about that, like, wow, I think I'm hiding something from myself, and I would sure love to see what's in that blind spot and learn what it is, and even just to talk about that. So the topic here today is about getting free, and these are the ways. It's like painstakingly pulling shrapnel out of our bodies while we're trying not to bleed to death. But as we go along with enough compassion for ourselves, we can do this incredibly courageous thing, and to just keep painstakingly, with the tweezers, like getting out those lies, those secrets, those things that we feel ashamed of, that we don't want other people to know or see. And when we identify them, it is oftentimes incredibly shocking, because we've cultivated such convincing personas. So, like, being really, really transparent, okay? I identified the other day. Now, people consider me to be a very loving, very compassionate, very empathetic person, very sensitive. And on certain levels, that all feels really, really true. And on a deep level of hurt, with parents who were too preoccupied with their own pain to see me, and hearing their trauma story from such a very young age, and kind of trying to figure out, what did I do to deserve this karma, to be born into this sad, serious household. It was kind of like, the black and white footage of Holocaust films my home felt like. And so here were these incredibly gentle and elegant people who were so fragile and so traumatized that my brother and I had to be really good to them, like really handle them with kid gloves. And that is what they expected, and that is what the world expected. And here I was, just a kid, wanting to be just a kid, wanting to be like what I perceived my friends, happy-go-lucky and lighthearted, and going out to eat and going to vacations and fun vacations and Disneyland and all this kind of stuff. And it wasn't like that. And so I harbored a secret shame of my parents, a secret hatred of them that I felt guilty about, because I saw that they were innocent and decent. And so then I had to cover all that up with being the good daughter. And I got really, really rewarded for being the good daughter by other people, constantly. Even, taking care of my mother until she passed 3 years ago, a month before her 98th birthday. I essentially dedicated my whole life to being a good daughter, while feeling guilty and ashamed that I had feelings of wanting to do other things with my life. That was kind of like, how could I want to do anything else with my life other than be ministering to these poor, hurt people? And so, like, internalizing all of that, becoming such a master empath, that's the way I knew how to love and show love to other people, to, like, identifying just this week to, like, on a certain level. And I'm sharing this with you really honestly, and it's super vulnerable, because you all might end up like hating me because of it. But I'm saying it because my tendency is to think that I am a micro of the macro, and that when I identify something inside of myself, it's likely true for others as well, even though your stories and your circumstances might be different. But I identify that on a certain level, I have been pretending to love while not really loving at all. And mostly not loving myself, because I felt so ashamed that that I wasn't loving these poor hurt people, that I didn't deserve love. And so many of my um, actions, choices, and decisions have come from that. And up until I identified this to myself the other day, I didn't even know that that was what was going on inside me. So this is really complex and multi-layered stuff, and it requires a great strength of will and compassion to heal and to forgive everyone and everything, because this is the character that I signed up to play. This is my character's hero's or heroine's journey from suffering to liberation, from suffering to worthiness and emancipation, and genuine joy and genuine pleasure and genuine happiness, and being willing to decide that despite all these like horrifying things that I get to see have been a part of my character's survival strategy, that I am still essentially worthy of the gift of life. And how I know that is because I'm here, because I exist, and because my focus and attention is on aligning with the miracle of existence and embodying that knowing and that grace, and being one who can support and point it out to others, that no matter how badly you may feel in the secret chambers that you don't go around expressing, while you paste a smile on your face and while you be of service, that underneath all of that, you are worthy of the gift of life. You are worthy of forgiving yourself. You are worthy of liberating yourself from the pain and the suffering and the despair and the self-flagellation that is keeping you stuck and keeping you from having an ecstatic, blissful, grace-filled experience of being alive, of this incredible miracle and gift that we all have been blessed with. I wrote this song once for my mother. It was called Time. It goes, when is it time to enjoy your life? When to release all the pain and strife? When to be other than mother or wife? When is it time? Is it time? When is it time to forgive the past? When to breathe free, just to be at last? When do you stop, always running so fast? When is it time? Is it time? Years pass us by in the blink of an eye, like clouds in the sky. They go. You've paid your dues. Ain't it time now to choose to live for the love of you? When is it time just to laugh and smile? when to indulge in your own sweet style, when to be happy, relax for a while. When is it time? Is it time? Someday is here, ma. Someday is now. Let go your fear, ma. I'll show you how. When is it time to enjoy your life? When to release all the pain and strife? When to be other than mother or daughter or sister or brother or husband or wife? When is it time? Is it time? Thanks for the time check, Stu. Welcome, Ehud. Welcome, Leah. Welcome, Helene. Nice to see you. When is it time? When do we decide? When do we choose to take, thank you, Ariane, full responsibility for what we're feeling? And to have the courage to say, my soul, my character chose to be here now, to be going through whatever I am going through, in order to remember the miracle of my own being and to put my faith in my source so strongly that I can walk through the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil. Even if I don't understand what is going on and why, I choose to consider myself blessed beyond measure to get to be here in this body, in this experience. Because I am here to represent the one who sent me. No matter what. And so I am committing to being the calm in the eye of the storm. Cultivating the peace that surpasseth understanding. I am committing to being the peace I want to see in the world. I am surrendering my ego, which thinks it knows how things should be. When the truth is, I know nothing except that I am privileged to get to be here. Welcome, Gio. And I have cultivated the capacity to be acutely aware of that privilege every single moment, whether I am awake or sleeping. I don't sleep that much. I remember as a young child going to Sunday school and first learning, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words shall be for frontlets between thine eyes, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt express the love of the Lord upon rising and upon going to sleep, upon laying down and waking up. And I remember how overwhelming that was, how intense and ominous that felt to me as a child. And now I see that it's like why Christians count rosary beads, because if we are not training our minds to focus on our gratitude for the miracle of our existence, then the monkey mind has room to get in there and cause us to think really disturbing and tormenting things. Gio, hello from Scottsdale. Is it a full moon tonight? I don't know. You know, it was interesting because the other night, what night was it? Christmas was Saturday. Christmas Eve was Saturday, so it was Sunday. On Christmas, I was visiting Stu, and we were sitting on this beautiful golf course, and I've only seen this once before in my life, and so it felt really auspicious. And I guess was that the solstice? I'm not sure, but the moon and the sun were at the same level in the sky, like, you know, just 180 degrees appearing apart from one another. And that was really cool. And it looked full then. So I'm not exactly sure if tonight is full or not. But anyway, welcome. So the conversation is on getting free and all the different ways that we can employ spiritual logic, that which I call spiritual logic, in order to identify and free ourselves from our psycho-emotional prisons as we go around with smiles on our faces and looking to be of contribution and looking to be of service while we're like churning inside and something isn't right and something is out of alignment. And the courage that it takes to sit with oneself. And I often highly recommend that you do this work at least until you feel like you don't need to anymore because you've so got it down. But sit in front of a mirror, looking into your own eyes, your own windows to your own soul, and having a dialogue with your reflection, asking it what's going on, telling it what you see, getting yourself to reveal the secrets that you have buried so deep that you've hidden them from yourself, and they are causing you so much despair. Because the ways in which we feel bad about ourselves, we feel ashamed of ourselves, we feel guilty, it is so like, first of all, we may or may not even be able to identify where it came from, because I know, like in Catholicism, there's stuff about being born a sinner, and so right away you're like programmed to feel guilty and ashamed and unworthy, and there's such a wound there. If you can feel that, like just sit with that for a minute, like, and have compassion for what a wound that is, to take an innocent child, pure, perfect, miraculous being, and project upon it all this shame, all this make wrong, right from the get-go. So this is the kind of stuff that is like a shroud around us that we have to get out from under. And so we have to do this reality check with ourselves to give ourselves the acknowledgement and the recognition that our inner child, our wounded inner child, is starving for. And when our little inner child feels loved and seen, it can feel safe. And when our inner child feels loved and seen and safe, we can relax. Can you relax? Is it okay for you to relax? Inner child, yes. Is it okay for you to allow yourself to trust that you are being supported and sustained by a benevolent intelligence that knows you intrinsically, knows precisely what you need, and has you, and that you are not here to run yourself ragged and to be living in a constant state of stress and mania, trying to prove your worthiness, trying to prove you're a contribution. Can you just be still and honor yourself enough to decide that you are worthy of peace? That you are worthy of sustenance? That you are worthy of support and grace? Grace is the field in which we exist. Grace is the substance of the cells that animate us. To doubt its presence is to put ourselves out of alignment with the source of all our nourishment and nurturing. And no one is doing it to us. We are doing it to ourselves. The courage to be still. And know that you are enough and you are worthy. And you have nothing to prove, nothing to justify. Everything here is a get to, as a blessing of the miracle of embodiment. There is no have to. And I understand that what I am saying defies programming and may be challenging to receive. Here's a song I wrote called Wake Up My Children. Clawing my way through cellophane realities, desperate to reach the truth. Much of this world has lost its sanity. How do we save our youth? God gave us life and love and paradise to share in harmony. When did we start to charge each other for what has been given free? Wake up, my children, reclaim your Eden, take back your liberty. Heirs to the kingdom, see where you come from, know your divinity. We are free, 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 we are free. We are free, 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 we are free. Dreaming of new utopian communities where we can live as one. Cooperation, all in unity, Spirit, thy will be done, 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 will be done. We are free, 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 we are free. Turn your attention back to Mother Earth, ask her to show the way. Silent surrender to your own rebirth, listen to what she say, 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 what she say. Namaste, 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 namaste. Wake up, my children, reclaim your Eden, take back your liberty. Heirs to the kingdom, see where you come from, know your divinity. We are free, 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 we are free. We are free, 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 we are free. Will be done, 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 will be done. What she say, 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 what she say. Namaste, 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 namaste. We are spiritual beings having this human experience. The word human comes from the Sanskrit root hu, which means God, and the Greek manos, which means mind. We are dream characters in the mind of the intelligence that animates us. If we can learn and commit to be enjoying living no matter what we are going through, even the most painful, even the most sacred, if we can savor, yes, you man, if we can savor, like taste every experience, taste it, inhale it, breathe it, be conscious, be aware, be present, be in awe. This too, this too, this too, this too. You know, when Viktor Frankl went through his Holocaust experience in the concentration camps, he went through as a PhD psychologist or psychologist. So his view was analytical, and he was looking for commonalities about, and I'm sure that this is a gross oversimplification, but there's still value in considering that those who survived expected to survive. Those who did not, did not. So everything that happens here in this dream play is a simulation. And if we commit to keeping a certain portion of awareness connected to that awareness and find a way to be in forgiveness and to be in gratitude, even for the most heinous experience. I believe it's possible that we can transmute and transform all to the good. No matter how challenging. It's a level of mastery to become like a sensei and be so committed to seeing the good and seeing the miracle in all that is, even the parts that through our sensibilities seem to be impossible to process. If we believe that there is an overarching intelligence, then we must find our way to align with that intelligence and surrender to it. Okay, Source, this too, this too, this too, this too. So you guys, I've been talking for almost an hour and a half, talking and singing. Nobody wants to come on and chat with me? You shy people, you? You have been given a face to be seen. You have been given a voice to be heard. You have been given a mind to process your experience and share your point of view with the rest of us, because we are all teachers and we are all students, and we all have something to learn from one another. Any takers? Yay! I can always count on you, Gio. You're a trooper. There you are.
Hey, Tess.
Hey, Gio. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Oh, there's so many great things that you've been talking about.
Thanks.
Yeah. And so just to, just to kind of hit on some of them that, that touched me, the piece that you're talking about, like with the inner child, that piece really speaks to me, because I have become, more and more aware. And as you talk about, like, as we go along, we become more and more. So I've become like more and more and more and more and more aware of how many of the things that I feel I know in my own life, I'll speak, to myself, that have ever challenged me, have been inner child or childhood experiences. And so, with that said, the thing that has been most beneficial to me in that realization has been the realization that we can go back and spend time with our inner child. Like, our inner child is in a dimension and is as alive as you and I are right now.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a lot simpler, I think, too, than, I mean, like inner child stuff or childhood trauma, let's say that, it can be a complex thing. And I also feel that at one level that it just is, it's a thing that we like pretty, I have met very few, maybe, it's like almost never that you meet somebody who has not had, some experience of some level of childhood trauma.
Yeah, and I would contend that it's more likely that they have suppressed it so profoundly and created such a persona on top of it that they're just not in touch with it, because I don't know if it's possible to avoid, because even the most innocent thing can be interpreted traumatically by a child and then internalized and then you know, off to the races.
Yeah,
You
it
know.
seems that way, and that's been my experience, as a parent as well. Like, as crazy as it may sound, but having grown up in a pretty turbulent family myself, and having been shaped by those things, one of the crazy thoughts that was in my mind at a certain point in time as a parent was like, oh, this child will not have had any traumas, and maybe they won't be adapted to the world because they haven't had any traumas.
Oh,
But yeah, but like as you say, the smallest little things, what seems apparently the smallest little things, but little people, right, when they're like teeny, like the smallest thing is a trauma, or it can be a trauma.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember I was in maybe the second grade, and I had a birthday party. And back in the day, we used to get these like little party favor bags for all the kids. So when their parents came to pick them up, we would send them with these party favor bags. And I guess they must have come like maybe, you know, six to a package, and I had 12 friends, and I made 13. And so instead of buying an additional package of party favor bags so that I, the birthday girl, could have one too, and these were like white wax paper bags. And so my mother took a crumpled up bag from the rye bread from the bakery and smoothed it out, shook out all the crumbs, and gave it to me because she was not going to give it to one of the guests, right? I threw myself down on the floor and started to have a tantrum, kicking the ground and screaming and crying. And all the parents were coming to pick up their kids. And my mother was so humiliated, but I didn't care. It was like, I'm the birthday girl. I'm the birthday girl. Why do I
Oh,
get the crumpled bag? You know?
dang. Well, I believe that is both a trauma. It's both a trauma, but it's also like many things are, that are traumas. Or it's also like, I mean, instantly I go to your genius, because like you just said, it's like, some kids would just be like, whatever.
So how does this translate to my genius? I
Oh,
want to know.
because you will not accept being, getting a crumpled up bag.
Oh, see, okay, this is powerful because this is actually where we started today, because I was talking about this house a townhouse that I looked at um, uh, on Saturday, and I liked it a lot, even though it was much, much smaller than what I have been thinking I want. But I've been looking, I mean, March 4th is going to be 3 years that I have been like on this nomadic journey that I've been on and in this holding pattern. And it was like, well, you know what? Maybe I could take this place, and even if I don't think of it as my final destination, it would be good for me to in my own energy and ground and get all my stuff back together under one roof. And I was kind of like, talking myself into it, even though there were things that about it that were like, okay, I won't look at that and I won't look at that. But then the clincher was that I left the house and I walked over to the swimming pool, which was gated, and there happened to be some residents in there, and they let me in, and I was talking to them, and this beautiful place, and they've been living there for maybe 10 years, and they love everything about it except for whatever reason, whether it's a malfunction they don't want to repair or they don't want to spend the money, they only sporadically, once in a blue moon, heat the pool. They,
Oh,
they don't keep the pool
yeah.
heated. And it was like I was crestfallen because that's my like I'm chomping at the bit to get to a place where I can resume my swimming
Yes.
practice, you know,
Yes.
on a regular basis. And it was like, why can't I have a pool? Like why can't I have what I want? So it like activated all that like wounding that caused me to really like dive deep to start investigating like what is it in my psyche still, despite all the work that I've already done, that is like, no, you can't have everything you want. You have to be satisfied with the crumpled paper bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
And
this is why I say this is your genius. And it could, I can imagine that sometimes it could feel like a heavy burden to carry or whatever. But not everybody would be like what you just said. Some people would be like, oh, I'll just like whatever. Thank God it just like it just has a bedroom or whatever. But but you're not that way, and so this is my recommendation to you and to anybody that has this. Like, it's like a childhood wound, right? And it's a detriment or whatever, but it's also a superpower because you could take that same energy and be like, fuck it, I'm not settling for anything less than what I deserve. And all across the board, I mean, all across the board, because I mean, Tess, when I heard you like singing that last song that you were just singing, I mean, in my mind, I was just imagining like, okay, that's where the backup singers are. That's where the backup singers are. And yeah, you know, so you
yeah,
just
you
use
just
that
remind
use
you.
that energy, and yeah.
Thank you. You just reminded me of a quote that I have remembered for decades, and it is a funny thing about life. If you refuse to accept anything but the best, you very often get it.
Yeah.
So it requires a lot. It requires a patience. It
Yep.
requires a trust. It requires a stubborn holding out when it's like it's not about instant gratification. It's about like holding steady to what you want, and so that's why this almost 3 year journey I have been on has been my commitment to using this as the arena, the simulation for me to really heal this thing, because it kind of sucks to settle for less and then live with the less and go, what am I doing? Like, why did I say yes to this? This isn't
Totally.
what I want, you
Totally.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
But while everybody else thinks you're kind of crazy and spoiled and a prima donna
Well,
and all
they
this,
will. That's how it is. That's how you
yeah.
know you're onto something. Like when other people are like, "You're crazy," you should just like, take
And
that
just,
crappy place.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So that was like, oh God, back to the drawing board again. You know?
But I'll tell you, I can't really. I feel like I cannot put it into words enough, but I will try to. Which is like that same power, which is it's both like it's a desire, but it's a frustration at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like where's the ease and grace? Like why isn't the Red Sea just parting? And Tess, here's your palace.
So it's these two kind of energies, and the energy that it takes to like to really like to go after something, no matter what it is. Even if it's just like getting out of bed in the morning. Sometimes it's like it's like it's because of that. It's because of that. It's because I don't settle. I don't settle for less than, and because of that, um, it's like you're gonna do your thing.
Or staying in bed. It could be, giving oneself
No,
permission
no,
permission to rest,
no,
Like who are you to get to
no.
sleep on a weekday when everybody else is up and out?
No, I mean, I can relate because there has been There's been days. It's unusual where I live right now. It's like I don't really have sun shining on my face in the morning,
Mm.
so it's become easy for me to go from, you know, a 6 a.m. person to like a 8 or 8:30 a.m. person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But and what I find with this, and this this is a neurochemistry thing, which is the same neurochemistry that allows us to sleep, to go into that state of sleep, is very, very close to the same neurochemicals that we experience in depression.
Oh.
And so, yeah, I've heard this, learned this from Andrew Huberman, and the Huberman laboratories. They're now doing this. Like they know what the chemical makeup is, and he's got some recommendations that he makes that are some real simple ones that I try to follow, and it is to get out of bed in the morning. Like I said, the sun is not in my face in the morning now, so it is easy for me to stay in bed and, to stay and just like, whatever, do nothing, imagine what could be. or, usually what happens, because it's like a depression kind of similar chemical, this has been my experience, and I don't think I'm alone in this way, but it's often, if we stay in bed in the morning, it's like we think about the worst things, the things that could go wrong or are going wrong or might go wrong, or,
Well, I got that going on all night long.
you got it all night long.
Yeah. That's why I set my alarm and listen to that spiritual teacher at from 5:20 to or 5:30 to 6:21 in the morning, and
Okay.
then I go back to sleep. And then at about 8 o'clock, I get a text from the coffee substitute called Rise. It's a mushroom. It's a I
No,
mean
I don't know.
I ordered it. It's spelled Ryze,
Okay.
and I ordered it off of Facebook, and it's nice. I mean, it's tasty. It's been working for me. I'm on it for like 6 months now already instead of coffee, and it's satisfying. And I signed up for their community. They send a daily gratitude text that's an online journal. So it's like they send you a prompt question by text, and you have to respond to it or you fall behind in it. So like that's the first thing before. So I listen to the spiritual teacher. I get my head on better, fall back asleep, and then at 8 o'clock in the morning, I've got this text I have to answer what I'm grateful for, and then I start. So that helps.
I love that.
Yeah, yes, it's clever. It's a clever little campaign they have.
But
Yeah, so I'm up to like
but the earlier.
186 days. 186 days in a row I've been
Wow.
doing it.
Wow. Wow. High five.
Hmm. Thank you.
No, that's so good. So good. Yeah, because what I know for certain, quite certain to be true, is however we start our day is so important.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I do pay, I joke about it, but I pay a large amount of attention to it, or let's say, like I've created a habit or habits. And you want to hear the funniest one?
Hmm.
So this is from another not neuroscientist, but habit design, and he calls it the Maui habit. And the Maui habit is like when you like the very first thing, like as you get out of bed, or you could do even in bed, but you jump up and you just like proclaim that it's going to be a great day.
You
And
do that? You jump out of bed and
you've probably seen some of my reels and stuff about this, like kind of, just like having fun with it. But I'll tell you what, no matter how you are feeling, like when you, like I said, that kind of, that kind of neurochemistry in the morning where you're like, oh, it could be like, I'm going back to sleep, life sucks or whatever. If you jump awake or you get up at that, like that moment, you get up and you be like, it's gonna be a great day. And you could say it, loud, you could say it soft, you can say it a couple of times, but the mind, it follows the instructions.
Nice.
And it almost immediately is like, you know what? It's gonna be a great day.
And so it
And
is. Amen.
you feel, you feel into that. And those feelings, I've come to, as much as I do subscribe to, all the woo woo, ness of different things we could do with this and that.
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
I do believe and experience that sometimes these little things that we do that, shift our neurology, they shift our neurochemistry. And
Yes.
so the Maui morning habit is like, you just, first thing you get up, it's like, it's gonna be a great day. and then he had an alteration to it, or an adaptation, which is sometimes you just don't, like, you don't even feel like that at all. And so the adaptation could be like, it's going to be a great day somehow.
Right. Right. Right.
And
Right.
sometimes
It's
you got to say that a couple of times, it's like
uh-huh.
somehow.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, you
Uh-huh.
tell
Uh-huh.
yourself first thing in the morning, it's going to be a great day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you pop your body physically, because a lot of it is somatic, it's a movement thing.
Yes.
And it's not logical at all. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
logical thing. But this
Mm-hmm.
Maui habit, it is very funny, but it's somatic. We use our voice, and it's a command. And
I like it.
that little morning Maui habit, I'll tell you, I even the mornings, which I'm like anybody, some mornings I'm like, I don't want to get out of bed. It sucks. But I do that morning Maui thing, and it's like, okay. And I just
Cool.
start
How long you been doing
feeling.
it?
So I just start feeling it.
How long you been doing
Uh,
that?
for, I'm gonna say a good 3 years now, at least 3 years.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
High five.
high five.
That's
Because
good.
I've also taught it. I've taught it as well, like in my classes, because
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know this is not a unique thing that we're talking about here, which is, you know, um, we wake up in the morning and it's like we've got a dread. Maybe there's a dread for the morning,
Right.
but
Right.
it's just a feeling. And if we can, we can employ this morning Maui habit and break the feeling, and actually bring in a new feeling. It's going to be a great day.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's ultimately the thing. It's like this the Native American story with the two wolves. It's like we've got these two wolves, and one is, threatening and angry and negative, and the other one is loving and positive, and the little grandchild says, "Well, which one, um, which one wins?" And the grandfather says, "Whichever one we feed."
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we get those negative thoughts. It's like, okay, am I going to indulge those? Am I going to let that just like take over and make me like want it, want to be done? Or am I going to go, no, this is the reality. This is the story I'm telling, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm like, I'm a divine being, and I'm incredibly blessed, and it's such a privilege to get to exist, and I'm so fortunate, and so beloved by the, source loves my character, and supports and sustains me, and all that, on and on and on, like whatever I can think of to throw at myself that's gonna be like, you know.
Well, you do. You have a lot of good things that these things that you speak and everything. And that,
Yeah.
like I said, in terms of, like, it is a somatic thing. It's like what we speak. And,
Mhm.
it's like it's like in the biblical verses, right? They're like, at in the beginning was the word. It's like what we speak. It's a,
Yes.
it's a, it's a speaking, it's a movement of energy, it's a vibration. And I think
Mhm.
it's one of the most powerful ones. And it does
Yeah.
seem I think sometimes it seems silly, or like if you're in a bad state, you wake up in a bad state, or if you're just in a bad state, the last thing, it's so counterintuitive, but it's like the last thing, for some reason, the last thing that the body wants to do is to get out of that state,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
it would rather stay
Mm-hmm.
in that state
Right.
of self-pity or, self-condemnation. But that's why this morning Maui habit, or any of the things like the words that you use to inspire people, is like, just speak it.
Yes. 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 Amen, brother. Amen.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I
And I'm just
appreciate
I'm
you
just
coming
on the
on.
journey. I'm just on the journey like everybody else, and that I know that's important to say, because it doesn't matter like who you listen to or who you get advising from, or ideas from, or whatever. But when at the point where the rubber meets the road is doing it, actually doing it.
Yeah, and as part of the healing piece is to recognize that we're all the same. And it doesn't matter what the role is that the other character is playing, whether they're a royalty or whether they're living in the street. We're all characters in the divine play, and we each have a piece of the puzzle, and we're each equal, and we're each going through whatever we're going through. And it's really important to be transparent about it and share rather than posture like we have it all figured out and together. It's so boring. It's so old school. It's not like that
It's
anymore,
old school.
Yeah. To like, you know, keep airs about us of perfection. And I mean, I like celebrating the perfection of us as we are. Like these are our carefully drawn characters with our idiosyncrasies, with our neuroses, with our challenges. We are perfect in our imperfection. There's nothing that we need to, as Panache would say, fix, heal, change, or improve. It's just like this is our character, so accept it, accept the character, and celebrate the character that you get to play, that I get to play. Whoops. Okay, well, thanks for being on. Thanks for being on, Gio. You abruptly deleted yourself, but anyway, thanks for the time check, Stu. Angel, welcome. Lori, welcome. I didn't see that you jumped in here. And that brings me to my song, Absolution. Yeah, well, we were in our completion, so it's all good. Check out this song. It's called Absolution. I don't sneak around and I don't cheat. I got nothing to hide, no secrets to keep. As the day is long and the sea is wide, nothing's dirty or wrong. I am holy inside. I don't lie to my friends and I don't steal. No dark past to forget. I got no sins to conceal. You can say what you want. You can judge as you please. I'm as pure as a song. I'm as fresh as a breeze. Everything I've ever done's been sanctioned by the one. The spirit moves, the body grooves, the soul says yes to fun. I love who I am, rejoice in what is. I live for the now and follow my bliss. Awaken the dream, I laugh at my fears. No, you can't bring me down, I have shed enough tears. Everything I've ever done's been sanctioned by the one. The spirit moves, the body grooves, the soul says yes to fun. By living life outside the box, I'm what they call unorthodox. And here's the final paradox. The God I know knows my life rocks. What you think of me is none of my business. I am so connected to my isness. Da 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 da. Bum bum. So yes, getting free. Get free. We are here to get free, to liberate ourselves from the psychic prisons that we have inadvertently put ourselves into through blame and shame and guilt and remorse and worry and fear and lack of worthiness and all these stories that we have been telling ourselves that suggest that we don't deserve to live, we don't deserve to live well, we need to be punished and suffer for the rest of our existence. And all of that is a hypnosis that I am here to support us in waking up from. If you need support, if you want support, please feel free to reach out to me via Messenger. Send me a private message. I'm cooking up an offering live and in person in San Diego for January the 18th, so stay tuned for information about that. In the meantime, this is episode number 22 of Voices of the Global Awakening, Tuesdays with Tess. So we've been going for 5.5 months. This is our last episode of 2023. We'll be back next Tuesday, January the 2nd, for episode number 23. Topic to be announced. And if you have any ideas for topics, feel free to share those with me. If you would like to come on and talk about something in particular, I'm very open to discussing that with you and either doing it spontaneously or planning it for the future. There are myriad ways that you can support this endeavor. If you look in the description, you will see how to follow my music ministry, all sorts of different Facebook groups I have that you can join, and I am happy to have magnetized you and look forward to interacting with you more. So, how much time do we have left now? 4 minutes. We have 4 minutes left. So, anybody have any final thoughts, any comments, any reflections, any feedback, whether you want to type them in the chat or whether you want to just come on for a quick little dialogue in these last few minutes? We can do that. We can do whatever we want. 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes. Yeah, so do I have any other little ditties I could offer you? Raised in a society obsessed with notoriety, a picture of anxiety was me. So hypnotized to seize the prize, ambition blinding me, never free. Till one day I awoke to realize it was a joke played upon the folk who could not see the nature of the lie that would destroy one's sense of pride in the life that God hath gave to thee. I've already made it, I've already won. The moon and the stars and the earth and the sun. I've already made it, I've already won. The moon and the stars and the earth and the sun. There's no one to be but the me that I am. One face of creation, one grand grain of sand. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so glad we had this time together. I wish you a beautiful, meaningful completion of this cycle around the sun as we usher in a new year filled with new intentions, new possibilities, new opportunities, new insights, new awareness, new love, new creation, just a whole bunch of new, just because we say so and we decide so, and we are here, we are alive, we are blessed, we are miraculous. That's my story, and I am sticking to it. I love you, I appreciate you, and please mark your calendars, tell your friends, share this video with others, and I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, the 22nd, Tuesday with Tess, not the 23rd episode, January 2nd, 2024. Infinite blessings.